All right, let's talk about the guy who was selected second overall just a couple of years ago. Many thought should have been selected first overall. And I wanted to make a video really discussing just how good he is. I think we all agree Aiden Hutchinson is good. But again, to what level? Is he an elite level edge rusher, or is he still just like a good edge rusher? Because his box score stats aren't as impressive, although like PFF grades and some other advanced stats are pretty impressive. Just putting his PFF grades on the screen, you see, while maybe not an elite run defender, his pass rush has been like among the best in football according to like consistency stats. Also, they're impressive as coverage. We'll actually weirdly get into that a little bit in this video, but I want to just talk about again what he's bringing to the table and what are the many things he does well. And of course, to do that, you have to watch the film. So in this video, we're going to just again answer the question of, is he a good player or is he an elite player? Let's just get into it. First, let's start off with something like this, where you see where he is on the screen, going up one-on-one against the left tackle for the Atlanta Falcons, and he's going to pull off a move that's, quite frankly, just one of the most impossible two-block moves you will ever see. Watch how when this play begins. It doesn't start off anything too fancy. It looks like he's going for more of an outside move, so you might be wondering, well, how is this the most difficult block to pull off? Well, watch what he's going to do at this point. Watch this spin move, gets towards the inside and gets to Desmond Ridder for a sack. I mean, if there is a way to block that, I have not seen it. And not just that, but what makes it just so deadly is how quick he gets to the quarterback, right? Because, usually you get about 2.5 seconds as a quarterback. So if you're getting there kind of at that point or a little bit before that point, usually you're not ready to make the throw. And even if it's, the play was going to work, and maybe you could have made it work had you thrown the ball a little bit earlier, it's that internal clock, right? Where if you assume you have a little bit more time than you actually do. Getting those immediate pressures are so important, and that is something Hutchinson is very good at doing. And also something like this, I think, is another aspect that he's very good at. So it's going to be it's actually the left guard he's going up against, because that's something that he does as well, which is interesting, is he doesn't just stay on the edge. He does come in and play on the inside at times, which helps out because he is such a good pass rusher on the inside. This now gives you two other edge rushers on the play. And so if you feel like it's going to be a passing play, like in this situation, 2nd down and 10, the Falcons are down 4 points 14 points with 2 minutes left. They're going to have to throw the ball. Well, that's when the Lions do stuff like this. Where watch how when this play begins, you see first Hutchinson driving that guard back. You see the power that he has right there. But now he's going to use his hands, where he uses his right hand to kind of help drive the guard back. But now watch his Hutchinson's left hand on this play. Watch him get it under the left hand of the guard, and then he actually uses it to knock the football out on top of it. Not just that, he recovers the fumble, and that ices the game for the Detroit Lions. I mean, that's a superstar level play if I've ever seen one. And, I think it's fair to say that, listen, if you're a good pass rusher, you get consistent pressure, you're able to get to the quarterback pretty consistently, all of that good stuff. But it does feel like the elite of the elite guys, the top tier guys, find a way to do a little bit more than that. It's not just consistently getting to the quarterback. It's getting the splash plays, getting turnovers, getting fumbles, fumble recoveries, and sometimes even what you'll see on this next play. It's this one where what's going to happen here is you see where he's going to be going up one-on-one against. It's a tight end. Oh, well, easy. I mean, just beat the tight end one-on-one. It's about as easy as it gets, right? Well, watch how when this play begins. Yeah, that is easy. Hutchinson gets by him pretty quickly. Well, wait a second. Why was it so easy? It's because it's a tight end screen, and they're essentially trying to get Hutchinson out of the way by getting him close to the quarterback, and this shouldn't be much of an issue for Bryce Young because he's used to having pressure in his face given how bad the Panthers blocked for him, so this works out well. But the interesting thing is with Hutchinson, again, most edge rushers just run by the tight end, try to get to the quarterback, but the best don't do that. Hutchinson reads this play, goes over, and actually somehow gets an interception on this one. Took a big hit returning the ball. Got to be aware of where you're running. But still, an incredible play by Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, that's just fantastic. And it's one of those things, too, where you look at a play like that, and you're like, okay, but how important is that really? Like, what's how often are you in these situations? And it's fair. I mean, there is an element of flukiness that comes into these types of plays. But at the same time, like I said, it seems like the best players just find ways to make stuff like this work. Like TJ Watt, JJ Watt used to do it, right? Like, all the best edge rushers are doing these kind of things. And then there's stuff like this, where it's going to be one-on-one against the Bears right tackle. And again, all that other stuff I'm showing, that's fun. But what you really have to be able to do is just win. These situations. And these are big situations. They're currently up 3 points against the Bears with 29 seconds left. Like, they could certainly use a play here. When this play begins, you see Hutchinson goes towards the outside, but the tackle isn't in a disastrous situation. It looks good for Hutchinson for sure, but again, not a disastrous situation. What you have to do is push Hutchinson behind your quarterback. Unfortunately for Chicago, Fields does not notice Hutchinson on this play, so it's definitely a good opportunity if Hutchinson can get there. Watch how Hutchinson barely gets moved back, though, and because of that, he's able to knock the ball away since Fields did not notice it, and then even does some good work to help get that ball out of the back of the end zone, resulting in a safety, and that, again, ices the game. So these are multiple games where he's getting the satisfying play at the end of the game to get the eventual game winner. And then there's stuff like this, where what's going to happen is this is a one-on-one block, but again, we can sit here and talk about the quality of certain tackles. This is not someone you can say anything about. This is Tyron Smith, one of the best tackles in the league when healthy, and he's healthy here. So, okay, what is Hutchinson going to do? When this play begins, you see how Hutchinson goes for that inside move, which is already kind of fooling Smith a little bit, getting a bit of a nice situation because he has that inside leverage. But it's still not a perfect situation. If Smith can just sort of push Hutchinson further towards the top of the screen, you're at least, giving up containment, giving Prescott an opportunity to, a place to go before he throws the football. But watch Hutchinson get that right arm loose, and because of that, he gets around Smith so quickly, Smith has no chance to block Hutchinson towards the inside. So again, that's an immediate pressure against one of the best tackles in football. There just aren't a lot of guys who can pull off the kind of plays that Aiden Hutchinson can pull off. So is Aiden Hutchinson elite? Well, again, first you have to define elite. I always define elite as a player who is at the top of their respective position. If, not always necessarily, like for example, when Aaron Donald was still playing, like basically that meant he was the only defensive tackle who was on his tier. So then I would typically go to, one tier below that. But typically it's the top tier. It's, top 3 or 4 players at their respective position. Usually there's kind of a tier right there. For me, the edge rushers that I would say are elite, it's Myles Garrett, it's TJ Watt, of course, and then you have like Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, Max Crosby. I don't know if I'm ready to quite put Hutchinson in that tier just yet, just because I do want to see it for another year. And, I do think the run defense is not bad, but definitely his pass rush is where he thrives. That being said, I do think he's in that next tier. I think he's in the conversation, and I could easily see myself, a year from today making another film study where I'm like, yeah, he's a top 5 player. I wouldn't be shocked if I make a video talking about how he won Defensive Player of the Year next year. I think that's in the cards, and it's worth mentioning as well, some of these consistency stats get hurt because he doesn't really have a ton of help on that defensive line, and while I still would like them to have better pass rush depth, they did add DJ Reader, who should still be able to help out, even if he's more of a run defender, so that's interesting as well. So, as a whole, Hutchinson, really good player, does a lot of great stuff for the Detroit Lions. At least that's how I view him. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Aiden Hutchinson? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.